Here we go from the start. I want to take it up and see how quick it would go up. Let's see, I think I took it up to about 200, maybe 205 feet. Just want to see how quick it would accelerate up. Now you might see some shaking. Keep in mind this drone do not have a gimbal on the camera, so you get a lot of shakiness and it's not going to be smooth, but this is like a good beginner drone. So always keep that in mind. Through the video you'll see shaking like that. The camera does not have a gimbal on it. Right now we're about 200 and I think it was 5 feet, 210 feet when I took it up, just to see how quick the acceleration was. But it's a pretty good camera. It just doesn't have a gimbal on it. So here I am, I'm up. I'm just kind of spinning around the perimeter. Still see a little shaking. It was a decent windy day. It wasn't too bad, but you know, with the drone being a mini, it's so light and it doesn't have a gimbal, you will get some shakage out of the camera. But for the most part, I mean, it records good video. There you go, some more shaking. When you first accelerate, you'll get like that first shake because it doesn't have a gimbal on it. Most drones with gimbals, you know, you will get a more smoother transition when you take off and when you stop. But without the gimbal on it, you'll see throughout the video as I'm recording, shaking like that. That was like when me stopping. And you see how it'll jerk back, but once it levels itself back off, you know, it goes back to a pretty good, decent film coverage. This is me just flying around at a track. Just took it out, some open grass, a field. Just playing around, seeing how it is, up, down. It's a pretty good, sturdy, you know, drone. If you're thinking about like getting you a drone and seeing how it is, or getting, you know, just a feel for a drone, this is a good one to start with. But if you're trying to make good quality video footage, you definitely want a drone with a gimbal. That way all the video you record will be smooth, and you know, the transitions will go good. But you still see a little shakage in this. This is no gimbal. Still a good video quality. Once you get it going, you know, if you was flying over something, you would kind of have to start way past it, then fly towards it and fly over it to get a good smooth transition. Because once it's going, you know, like I said, it records good. Once you have it going a certain direction, if you're not stopping and going. Like right now, I'm just flying it smoothly forward. You still see a little shake when the wind push it. You know, it handles pretty good. Now I will say this about this mini: the controls to the drone are super sensitive. Every little move you make is gonna respond. It don't have a bad response or nothing. It's immediate response. So it does have a good response time as far as the drone to the remote. It's super sensitive. Each little move you make is gonna catch it. Like this is kind of a decent smooth, just spin around I'm using with it. And I was going and stopping to see how bad the shake would be, since the camera doesn't have a gimbal. As you see, as I stop and go, you see it shake up, shake down. That's from accelerating and decelerating, things like this. But if you can see, good coverage, good camera on it. It does take some really good pictures. As you will see, I added in some pictures at the end of the video. Did you see the shakeage? But for a good beginner drone, it's a pretty good drone if you're not trying to keep this video footage, or if you're really trying to use it for video footage. I wouldn't use it for that. I would use it for just a nice drone to fly around with, have some fun at a park or something. It does take really good pictures once you fly to the height you want to fly to, and you just let the drone settle and you just want to take a picture. It does take really good pictures, as you'll see later on in the video. But for the most part, just a good, you know, play around drone, or or if you want to just learn how to fly a drone and then, you know, spend even more on a better drone once you even do it for a little bit, or see if you even want to play around with them. But for the most part, it's decent. You see the shakiness in it. As like I said before, you hear me say throughout the video, don't have a gimbal to it. So you're gonna get some shakage in it. But for the most part, not that bad. As you can tell, I'm just letting it hover right now. You can see I'm accelerating up, going up just to see. See, there you go. Accelerate to decelerate, you see the shakage in it. But once you go on steady at a smooth pace, it gets pretty smooth. It's pretty decent, you know. If you're trying to do smooth drone footage and you know you want to play with your drone, I would say just go straight to a drone with a gimbal on the camera. That way you just start off the bat with good film footage and stuff like that. If that's what you're trying to use it for. Trying to use it for good, you know, overhead video footage, smooth video footage. Just start off with a drone with a gimbal on it and you'll be fine. You just want to get into having one to play with and, you know, take some pictures here and there if you want to, or play around with a little video here and there. This would be a totally fine one to start with, or to break into the drone world or playing with drones. This is the Bwine Mini 7 again. Just zooming in on the parking lot and the baseball field, just seeing how everything look and how far I'm away. I'm over at those bleachers, sitting down, looking through my phone, which has an app that you link up to your drone, so you can use your phone and just look through the camera on the drone and see what you're recording, see what you're looking at. I'm just kind of scoping around this park out in the open, see how it deals with in the wind and things like that. The camera does have a good, you know, it can go pretty much straight out or all the way under it. If you want to directly fly over something and look straight down, you could. There go that acceleration again with the camera jerking and stopping. You'll get that because it doesn't have a gimbal, once again. So a lot of this footage would be like, you know, if you was really using it for footage, it would be useless to you. But here's just playing around at the park, you know, flying down the football field, accelerating about the goalpost, seeing how it would accelerate as far as going and then going up, checking all that out. Pretty decent. It does have a nice little range on it. It has a beginner mode, so if you want to first getting into them, it'll only let you go so far away from you. You can also go into the app, turn that off, and it'll fly as far as you want to at that point. Before it gets close to where it's out of range, it'll let you know through the app. You know, it'll let you know drone out of range, things like that. It does have a home button where you can just hit the button. It'll bring it back home to where you took flight at from the beginning. That's also a good feature. Another thing it doesn't have like obstacle avoidance sensors and nothing on it. So you really have to pay attention to where you're flying and to make sure you don't fly into anything. That's me sitting down there on the bench at the bottom, just flying around. Bring it down towards me and just kind of let it hover. You see the stoppage, you see how the wind catching it. It is a mini, it's super light. It can almost, I got pretty nice sized hands. I can just hold the drone in my hand. And if I fold it down, it'll sit directly in my hand. It's super light. It's just me bringing it down, grabbing it, swapping the battery out. The batteries last about 30 minutes of flight per battery. Come with 2 batteries. Get a good amount of flying time. Both batteries come with its own separate cord, so if you want to be flying and charging one, if you're out and about, you could be doing that too. But this is the F7 Mini. We're gonna go, I'm gonna swap it out and show y'all some of the pictures I took with it. These are just some pictures. I think I might be around 210 feet in the air. As you can see, they take some really good pictures. Some of them might have been around 250 feet in the air. That's one hovering. But as you can see, it takes really good still pictures. It's just a video. Without the gimbal, it's gonna be a little shaky. But overall, it's a pretty good beginner drone.